She said at midnight, "I want a divorce. Consider this my notice." The countdown hit 0. Fireworks lit the sky. I nodded. Notice received. I didn't explain why I smiled. The next morning, her phone rang before mine, and then the silence after that said everything. I'm 33, married for 6 years to someone I met in graduate school. We built what looked like a solid life together. Dual-income household, nice apartment in the city, trips twice a year, the whole package. She works in pharmaceutical sales, pulls in serious commission. I'm in corporate finance, stable salary, but nothing flashy. We split bills proportionally based on income. Seemed fair since she made about 40% more than me. New Year's Eve started normal enough. We went to a rooftop party downtown with her work friends, people I'd met a dozen times, but never really connected with. High earners, status conscious, the type who name-drop restaurants and vacation destinations constantly. I nursed a beer in the corner while she downed champagne with her colleagues, laughing at inside jokes I wasn't part of. The party was loud, packed with people I didn't know, all of them counting down to midnight like it meant something. Around 11:30, she pulled me aside to a quieter corner of the roof. The city spread out below us, lights everywhere, music thumping behind us. People were getting drunk, getting loud, getting ready for the countdown. "We need to talk," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. "Now? Here. Yes, now. I've been thinking about this for months, and I can't keep pretending." My stomach dropped. Pretending what? That I'm happy. That this marriage is working. I'm not happy anymore. Okay, that's something we can work on. Counseling. Maybe taking some time to reconnect. I don't want to work on it. I don't want to reconnect. I want out. People started gathering near us for the countdown, pushing past us to get better views of the fireworks. 10, 9, 8. She kept talking, voice calm like she was discussing dinner plans or weekend errands. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. Did the consultation 3 weeks ago. I'm filing for divorce next week. Consider this your official notice." 7, 6, 5. Fireworks started going off early from neighboring buildings, premature celebrations lighting up the sky. "Notice received," I said flatly. 4, 3, 2, 1. The sky exploded with color. People cheered, kissed, toasted the new year with champagne glasses held high. She watched me carefully, waiting for a reaction. I smiled. "Why are you smiling?" she asked, confusion crossing her face. "Just appreciating the timing. Very theatrical. Couldn't wait until tomorrow." "This isn't funny." I didn't say it was. I said notice received. "What happens next?" "We'll divide everything fairly. I'll have my lawyer contact you next week. We can do this civilly." "Sounds good. Should we head home or stay for the party?" She looked confused, thrown off by my calm response. "That's it. You're not going to fight this?" "Not going to ask why. Would it change your mind if I did?" "No. My decision is final." "Then there's nothing to fight about. You've made your decision." I'm acknowledging it. We left the party 20 minutes later, her friends giving us curious looks as we headed out. The Uber ride home was completely silent. She kept glancing at me every few minutes, like she expected me to break down or get angry or demand answers. I stared out the window, watching drunk people stumble down sidewalks, watching the city celebrate while my marriage officially ended. At home, she went straight to the bedroom without another word. I stayed up, made coffee even though it was past midnight, sat at the kitchen table in the dark, pulled out my phone, and sent 3 carefully worded text messages. First to my divorce attorney. Yes, I already had one. Had consulted him 2 months ago after finding some very interesting things. She just announced it at midnight. Proceed with everything we discussed. Second to my accountant. Execute the financial arrangements we discussed. Do it tomorrow morning, first thing. Third to her boss at the pharmaceutical company. Per our conversation last month, she's announced the divorce. You'll receive the documentation Monday morning as promised. I'd known this was coming for 3 months now. Found her burner phone hidden in her gym bag back in October. Unlocked it with her thumbprint while she was sleeping one night after she'd had too much wine. Months of texts with her regional manager. Not just flirting, planning. Planning a life together. Planning her exit from our marriage. Planning how to maximize what she'd take from me in the divorce. The texts were incredibly detailed. She'd been funneling money into a secret account, claiming it was just setting aside her bonuses for a rainy day. Her regional manager was married too, with 2 kids. They'd planned to both file for divorce in January, wait a few months for things to settle, then go public with their relationship and start fresh together. I'd spent November and December preparing. Quietly, carefully, completely. Every step documented. Every move calculated. Update 1. New Year's morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. sharp. Made breakfast like it was any other day. Acted completely normal. She emerged from the bedroom around 8, looking exhausted and probably hungover from all that champagne. Coffee, I offered, holding up the pot. Sure. Thanks. We sat at the kitchen table in uncomfortable silence. Her phone was face down next to her plate. Mine was in my pocket, vibrating with incoming messages I was ignoring for now. At 8:47 a.m. exactly, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered cautiously. Hello? Yes, this is she. What? When did this happen? I don't understand. This must be a mistake. Some kind of error. She hung up, face going pale. That was my bank. Someone drained my private savings account. $30,000, just gone overnight. That's terrible. Identity theft, probably. You should call them back right away. I'm going to. This has to be identity theft or fraud or something. She spent the next hour on the phone with her bank, her credit card companies, her investment accounts, getting more frantic with each call. Turns out her private accounts, the ones she thought I didn't know about, had been legally emptied overnight. How? Because 3 months ago, I consulted a forensic accountant who traced exactly how she'd been systematically taking marital assets and hiding them in separate accounts. Those accounts were funded with her bonuses, which were considered marital property since we filed taxes jointly. My attorney had quietly petitioned the court with all the evidence. Got a judgment that those funds were improperly separated marital assets. The court ordered them frozen, then transferred back to our joint accounts pending divorce proceedings. She'd been served the paperwork by email at 6 a.m. She just hadn't checked her email yet. This is insane, she said, still on the phone with her bank. My lawyer told me this account was protected, that it was separate property. Which lawyer? I asked innocently. The one I consulted last month. The one who's going to represent me. You might want to call them about this. She did. Waited on hold for 20 minutes, getting more agitated. Finally got through to someone. What do you mean you can't represent me? We had an agreement. I paid you a retainer last week. What do you mean conflict of interest? That doesn't make sense. She hung up, staring at her phone in complete disbelief. Everything okay? I asked. My lawyer says they can't represent me anymore. Says there's a conflict of interest. I don't understand how that's possible. It made perfect sense to me. Her lawyer, the one she'd hired in secret, was at a firm that also represented me. Different attorney, same firm. I'd made sure of that. Consulted with a junior partner there first, established attorney-client privilege. Once that was in place, anyone else at that firm was automatically barred from representing her against me due to conflict of interest rules. Her phone rang again. This time she recognized the number. Her regional manager. Her affair partner. Hey, what's what? Right now? But it's New Year's Day. Can't this wait until Monday? I'll call you back. She hung up slowly, looking shaken. I have to go into the office. On New Year's Day, emergency meeting. Something about compliance issues. Need a ride? No, I'll take an Uber. She left 30 minutes later, still in yesterday's rumpled clothes, hair barely brushed. I cleaned up breakfast, did some laundry, watched some TV, waited. My phone kept buzzing with updates from my attorney. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. Update 2. She came home at noon, crying. Not sad crying, angry, frustrated crying. The kind where you can't catch your breath properly. You did this. You had to have done this. Done what? Everything. The accounts, the lawyer, my job, all of it. You're behind this. I know you are. I'm behind you getting called into work on New Year's. I got fired. They terminated me effective immediately. Said I violated ethics policies. Inappropriate relationship with a superior. How did they know about that? Did you have an inappropriate relationship with a superior? That's not the point. That's entirely the point. Did you? She collapsed onto the couch. Someone sent them screenshots. Texts between me and my manager. Private texts from my personal phone. They said it was an anonymous tip, but I know it was you. When would I have gotten screenshots of texts from a phone I didn't know existed? I don't know how you did it, but you must have. Or maybe someone else found out. Maybe his wife found out and reported it. Maybe someone at your company noticed you two together and reported it. Maybe you weren't as careful as you thought you were. The truth was simpler. I'd sent those screenshots to her company's HR department in mid-December. Anonymous email, untraceable account. Their company has very strict policies about workplace relationships, especially between managers and their direct reports. He was her direct superior. She'd violated policy. So had he. This is going to ruin me. My career is completely over. You violated company policy. That has consequences. Stop being so calm about this. This is your doing. All of it. I haven't done anything except receive your notice of divorce. Everything else is just consequences of your choices. My choices? You set me up. I documented your affair. I protected marital assets you tried to hide. I made sure you couldn't use a lawyer with a conflict of interest. Those aren't setups. Those are responses to your actions. You knew. This whole time you knew. I found your burner phone in October. Read everything. Every text. Every plan. Every laugh at my expense. You and him, planning your futures while I paid the bills. Yeah, I knew. So you just waited? Planned all this revenge. You spent 3 months planning how to leave me. I spent 3 months planning how to protect myself. Seems fair. She pulled out her phone, started frantically typing. Calling someone. Her affair partner, probably. It rang and rang. No answer. He's not picking up, she said desperately. Probably busy. He got fired too, right? And his wife probably found out. I'd imagine he's got a lot going on right now. You told his wife. I didn't have to. His company told him about the termination. He probably went home and confessed, or she figured it out when he showed up fired on New Year's Day. That's not on me. This is vindictive. This is cruel. This is protecting myself. You planned to divorce me, take marital assets you'd hidden, and walk away with no consequences. I made sure that wouldn't happen. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to take you for everything. With what lawyer? With what money? Your secret account is frozen. Your income just disappeared. You're starting from scratch. My parents will help. Will they? When they find out you had an affair with a married man. When they learn you tried to hide marital assets. When they discover you got fired for ethics violations. You really think they'll back that play? She stood up, grabbing her phone and keys. I need to leave. Where will you go? A friend's place. A hotel. Anywhere but here. Take what you need. Your new lawyer will be in touch about division of assets. I don't have a lawyer. Then you should find one. Soon. Clock's ticking. She left that night. Threw clothes in a suitcase. Called an Uber. Gone by 8 p.m. The apartment felt bigger without her. Quieter. Calmer. Update 3. The next morning, my attorney sent her the divorce paperwork via email and certified mail. Comprehensive, detailed, showing everything. Her hidden accounts, the affair, the violations of company policy that led to her termination. All documented with dates, screenshots, bank records. He also sent a proposed asset division. Given her attempt to conceal marital funds, given the affair, given everything, we were pushing for a favorable split. Not punitive, just fair based on her actions. She'd get what she was legally owed, nothing more. She hired an attorney by midweek. Someone outside the firm she'd originally contacted. Younger lawyer, less experienced, probably the only one willing to take her case on short notice. They reviewed everything, sent back a counterproposal. Laughable. They wanted 60% of assets, spousal support for 3 years, the works. My attorney responded with a single sentence. If your client wishes to litigate, we're prepared to present all evidence of affair and asset concealment in open court where it becomes public record. They backed down within 48 hours. Sent a revised proposal much closer to our terms. Meanwhile, her world kept shrinking. Lost her job, lost her lawyer, lost her affair partner who went crawling back to his wife begging forgiveness. Her parents found out through mutual friends who'd seen her fired. They called me, apologized profusely, said they didn't raise her to be like this. She made choices, I told her mother. I'm just responding to those choices in a way that protects my interests. You're handling this with more grace than she deserves, her mother said. I'm so sorry you got hurt. You were always good to her. I appreciate that. Her father asked if there was anything they could do to help the situation. I said no, just let the legal process play out. They agreed, said they'd support whatever outcome was fair. 2 weeks after New Year's, she called me directly, number I didn't recognize. Must have gotten a new phone. Can we talk? Please. About everything. I made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. I was confused and scared and I thought I wanted something else, but I was completely wrong. You want to reconcile? I want to try. We built something together over 6 years. Maybe we can rebuild it. Start over. No. Just like that? No discussion? No chance. You spent 3 months planning to leave me. You had an affair. You tried to steal marital assets. You announced a divorce at midnight on New Year's Eve surrounded by strangers at a party. There's nothing to discuss. I was going to end it with him. My manager. It wasn't serious. It was serious enough to get you both fired. Serious enough to plan futures together. That was your fault. That was your choice. You chose to have the affair. You chose to violate company policy. You chose to hide assets. I just made sure those choices had appropriate consequences. So this is revenge. Pure revenge. This is accountability. You wanted a divorce. You're getting one. On terms that reflect reality, not the fantasy you and your affair partner planned. I have nothing now. No job, no money, nowhere to go. You have what you're entitled to from the marriage. The split will be fair under the law. You'll get your portion of assets. You'll land on your feet eventually, just not on my back. She hung up crying. I blocked the new number. Final update. The divorce finalized in March. She got her share of marital assets, about 30% after accounting for what she'd tried to hide, the legal fees, and adjustments for her attempted concealment. No spousal support since she'd been the higher earner throughout the marriage, and we'd only been married 6 years, not long enough to warrant it. She moved back with her parents, tail between her legs. Last I heard through mutual acquaintances, she found a new job in a different industry, taking a significant pay cut and starting over basically from scratch. Her affair partner's wife divorced him, took primary custody of their kids. He tried to restart things with my ex-wife after both divorces finalized, but she refused. Said she'd learned her lesson about married men and workplace relationships. My attorney said I'd handled it perfectly. Most people get emotional, make mistakes in anger, give away leverage. You played it smart. Documented everything. Stayed calm. Protected yourself legally. I didn't feel smart. I felt tired. Exhausted from months of pretending everything was fine while planning my defense. But I also felt free. Free from someone who'd stopped valuing our partnership months ago. The smile at midnight wasn't about revenge. It was about relief. Relief that I'd prepared. Relief that I'd known what was coming. Relief that I wouldn't be blindsided by someone who'd stopped caring about our marriage while I was still trying. Her phone rang first that New Year's morning because her world was falling apart in real time. Mine stayed quiet because I'd already arranged everything, set everything in motion. All the pieces were already moving. People ask if I feel guilty about how it went down. I don't. She made calculated choices over 3 months. I responded to those choices with my own calculations. She tried to stack the deck in her favor. I just reshuffled it. The silence after her phone call said everything because she'd run out of moves. No hidden money to fall back on. No sympathetic lawyer to defend her. No high-paying job to support herself. No affair partner waiting in the wings. Just consequences of decisions she'd made, showing up exactly on schedule. That's not revenge. That's just reality showing up on time.